Prime Minister and his government taxed Canadians into poverty. His former Environment Minister called single moms and small businesses arsonists because they oppose the carbon tax. Meanwhile, he ignored the warnings of his own Parks Department that the Jasper Valley had turned into a tinderbox. Warnings that go back to 2017, 7 years ago. Repeated warnings to clear the brush and do controlled burns. Why didn't his government do the job and prevent or mitigate this disastrous fire?
It is always astonishing to hear the Leader of the Opposition talk about the impacts of the extreme weather events related to climate change while he opposes any climate action at all. He has no plan to fight climate change, which means no plan for affordability, which means no plan for the future of the Canadian economy. We have a price on pollution that is putting more money back in the pockets of 8 out of 10 Canadians where it applies, and is bringing down emissions and creating growth and jobs. That's what Canadians need.
He pretends you can put out forest fires with taxes. Clearly that has not worked. Rather, what he should have done is listen to his own officials who said that the mass buildup of fuel in the Jasper Valley as a result of dead trees needed to be addressed through controlled burns and other clearing methods, and also preparation so that we would have the ability to fight the fire if and when it ever started. All of this is documented in email correspondence and now testimony at a parliamentary committee. Instead of taxing Canadians into poverty, why didn't he fight forest fires?
Jasper was one of the most fire-smart communities in the country. Over the past years, residents and leaders within Jasper have been exemplary in making sure they were doing everything they could to protect their community. This fire, Mr. Speaker, was a treetop fire. It jumped from treetop to treetop and through flaming pine cones kilometers ahead of it, which is what set this burn. This is a result of climate change, Mr. Speaker, climate change he doesn't want to fight.
That kind of erratic screaming and hollering is not going to tackle the problem of forest fires, screaming about flying pine cones, etc. It's true, the people of Jasper were fire smart. The problem is that the government in Ottawa was fire stupid. They were warned, this government was warned repeatedly over 7 years that they needed to clear the dead wood to prevent the spread of a future fire. Why, instead of bringing in a crippling carbon tax, didn't he clear away the wood and stop leaving a tinderbox to explode?
One of the jewels of Canada's natural beauty burned because of climate change. And his focus is trying to blame Ottawa for that. That, Mr. Speaker, is completely irresponsible and shameful. But we have all seen that from this Conservative leader, who would rather try and rile people up and point figures than actually try to solve any of the challenges Canadians are facing, either today with affordability or tomorrow with climate change. That's not leadership.
I'll tell you it's not leadership. That in February of this year, email correspondence within his government confirmed that they were canceling a controlled burn specifically for political optics. They did not want to do controlled burns. They did not want to do the same kind of forest management and maintenance that Indigenous people had done for thousands of years, and that had been recommended by both people on the ground and officials in the department. The reality is he didn't do his job. He should be accountable and explain why he let the valley go up in smoke and used a carbon tax to hide behind it all.